Yeah, here. We're fine. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Get in the Garage.
We're a music podcast.
For music lovers, what's up, everybody? We hope you enjoy our new lighting situation. Right?
Yeah. I give you a side eye a little
We're
bit.
working. That's okay. We're working on it. Jeff couldn't be here today. He is busy doing some manual labor
Yep.
with Roy Boy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's helping him out doing stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I would
we
just
miss
like
you, Jeff.
to point out that we are not in the hospital lighting that we were in last week.
Yes. Yeah. It's very institutional, wasn't it?
It really was.
But, it's trial and error, guys. Doing this stuff on a budget over here. Luke, how you doing, man? How are you?
I'm fine.
You all right?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
Sure.
Luke just got back from a lovely vacation in New Hampshire.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. And you stay at like a house, right?
Yeah. Yep. It was nice.
Very nice.
Some sickly.
Cold.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
What can you do?
Well,
We don't vacation well.
I need a vacation from this vacation, guys.
Yeah. It happens. What can you do?
If we don't
Well-
vacation well,
Let me tell you, I don't think we vacation very well.
I think we're too anxious of people to vacation.
I was literally in Greece ruining my vacation. And I was like, why am I doing this? But, some people, you just don't vacation well, man. I feel for you people. I know. We're out there. We're out there.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to be led on like a group the whole time where you're just not doing anything.
Yeah, I can't make any decisions.
You can't make any. You are the worst decision maker. I mean, I'm a bad decision maker.
Yeah.
You're pretty on par.
Yeah, indecisive.
You're
would be
indecisive
how-
at weird places though.
Yeah, I know.
Like
I have full-on meltdowns if
You-
Jade tells me, I want this brand of this thing, and I go to the grocery store, and they have two other brands of that thing, but not the brand of the actual one that she wants, I'll have, an existential crisis in the middle of Walmart, well, which one do I buy? It's not exactly what she wants, blah, 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 blah. And it's it's no fault of hers. I don't want this to,
I
you
know.
know what I'm
I've
saying?
called
But it's
you.
my own where
I've
I'm like,
called you
"Ah!"
in the middle of that time to be like, "Hey man, could you mail that letter?" And then you're like, "Oh man, the peanut butter is da da da," and I'm like, "Oh my god, here we go."
Yeah. What can you do?
What can you do?
What can you do? It's just the way we're hardwired, unfortunately. Also, in other news, to bring it back to a very decisive decision that I made today, which was to purchase this lovely raspberry Danish that we can decorate our table with. So I'm really
Eat
excited
on
about
the
it.
microphone.
Eat on mic. There's nothing better than hearing other people eat stuff. Did you ever listen to the NPR show? Who was it? Who's the food schmooze?
Oh, Faith Middleton.
Faith Middleton had some guests on, and they were tasting different types of salt on air.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, I guess I understand why people like ASMR. Not for me, though.
A food show over the radio, quite
You hear that
difficult.
stuff?
Megan Chakrabarty on NPR.
Yeah.
Or no, Mary Louise, right?
Which
That's
one's
the
that
other
one?
host. All Things Considered. She goes like, mwah, mwah,
Yeah.
mwah, a lot.
Who was
Drives me nuts.
Who was the lady that was on? She retired a few years back. God, she had that really, really shaky voice. She was an older woman.
Is it Ellen?
Remember?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
She wouldn't be on 90. She wouldn't be on 89.1. She'd
Is
be on
it,
89.9.
Beat.
Yeah, she would talk like that. She had a very, very Granny Wendy type voice.
We're very much talking about the personalities of NPR.
Yeah, we are. It's a music podcast, so
Yeah.
NPR's the radio, whatever.
So,
Well-
Michael wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Michael, what did you want to talk
Well,
about today?
while Luke was enjoying his vacation in the frozen wasteland of New Hampshire, I've had the past few days off, kind of revitalize, rejuvenate, if you will. Some me time, and naturally during this me time, I watch a lot of bad television, and I started rewatching the season 3 of Rock of Love with Bret Michaels, and man, trash television.
Yeah,
Full on trash TV.
This episode of Get in the Garage is really going to be an ode to me and Michael's love for music-related reality TV.
Yeah.
and music related programming.
I'll say, yeah, like, because I'll be like, and it's also seeps in a little bit to like the surreal life and like, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, because that's really like the birthplace of this kind of.
Yes, me and Michael grew up in the
Sorry.
age of celeb reality on VH1 and all those great celebrity driven reality shows.
Yeah.
And like they had rock stars on them and they were fun. And I think it kind of broke a weird like wall with people in like, you know what I mean? Because before that you weren't really getting in like an inside look to like what people were kind of like in their normal lives.
Yeah, you're saying like celebrities, rock
yeah.
stars, yeah.
And then like you get to see some of them in like outrageous situations, i.e. Bret Michaels and and then like even further now, like we have this like great TV series that we're both watching, the Pam and Tommy
Yeah, right.
TV series on Hulu, and like that's actually like a big commentary on like a lot of these reality shows anyway, and
Yeah,
how they
right.
kind of all got
Yeah.
really started by like an invasion of privacy situation, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That show's wild, man.
Yeah, it is wild, and I
That
think
show
it has
is so wild, and I feel bad for Pamela Anderson, just on the in the sense of like there was some controversy over like this show even being made. They never really got her blessing. More
Right.
recently, she's completely gotten rid of like all her social media and stuff like that. She kind of like,
yeah.
pulled back. But you watch it, and it is crazy, man.
I mean,
Like the last episode that I just watched, it was the last one I think available, is when they're sitting with her during the deposition and they're like playing the sex tape to her in the room, like surrounded by lawyers.
it's gotta be terrible.
And it's like, oh my god, dude! Like, and that happened. That's what's so crazy about it, is like they made the real Pamela Anderson do that. It's just fucking
Right.
it's so gross, man.
Well, I think like what is interesting in like let's kind of get started, because like I think the overarching theme of like a lot of what's going on now is like even like the Britney Spears documentaries is like you're getting a thing where we're kind of looking back on like what we like did to these personalities and these people.
Yeah.
And even like I say all the time, that Brian Wilson movie, the biopic.
Yeah, with John Cusack, right?
Yeah. Like that, this whole
Paul Dano.
Yeah, is like a look back on like how we're like treated people and
Yeah.
treated like the celebrities and the artists that were around in these times. Like, so I mean, the first one for me is like obviously one that me and you laugh about all the time and we love dearly, is the Osbournes.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
that would probably be like the first, because like of my age, that was the first rock star reality show I remember watching. Like I watched it with my family.
Yeah.
Because we were all like, my dad, like we were all into Ozzy. We were Ozzy fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we watched the show, and that show is quite bizarre because I grew up loving it. It was a big cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like they were big in the zeitgeist. Like it was fun. Ozzy was like your like bumbling grandpa kind of situation.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like it played well like that. Right. But then me and you, like we looked back at that show probably 10 years after it was on the air.
Yeah.
Like maybe 13 years after, like that kind of, and we were watching it.
Yeah.
And me and you were struck with, why is Ozzy the reasonable one in the room all the time and everybody else is crazy? And then you were like, oh, like this is kind of bizarre, because now you kind of look back on it and you're like, oh, this is a man with substance abuse problems who's trying to like get control of his life, and he's having a very hard time, and he seems very rational and reasonable, and the people around him seem very unstable,
vapid and fucking just
vapid and like unreasonable.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Drunk on fucking just
Money.
materialism.
Yeah.
Because really that's the whole. And even it is so funny. I remember having that conversation with you where you're just like, why is Ozzy the only motherfucker that's like actually making sense? And the whole time he's just like shaking because he's so fucked up on whatever sort of prescription medications they have him on. And he's just out of his fucking mind the whole time.
Right.
But he's talking sense.
Yeah.
He's like, what? No, why would we do that? Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Just like, oh, Ozzy, and they just fucking steamroll him.
Even to the like one. Okay, so we can start like with the like. I mean, we're getting into it, but like the basic of him being like, I don't want to step in dog shit. It's a reasonable request of any human being, right? not. And then two, like even to his image when like that famous bubbles scene is happening.
He's like, I'm the prince of fucking
Like in
darkness.
Right. So like even like blandly, obviously Ozzy isn't an evil man or a werewolf. Like the
right.
marketing is like spooky Halloween.
Yeah, it's like Alice Cooper. It's like
it's
all
not,
that stuff.
Yes, right. It's like it's an image.
Yeah.
And it's not bubbles. You know. It's like.
It's this fucking
it's
creature.
Fake, it's fake jelly in your mouth and like blood and
Yeah.
What's the gatefold on this is great as well.
Let's see it. Pull it up. Oh, look at that. The Oz man cometh. Jesus Christ.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. The Prince of fucking Dark. But no, you're right though in that way where he's like, it's I don't know, man. It's sad in that like okay, so you watch something like that, right? And then you watch something like Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, right? And Gene Simmons' Family Jewels is Gene Simmons being like, "Oh no, man, I can make money on this reality TV shit."
Right.
And he goes in and he's like smart about the whole fucking thing. And like even when he acts a certain way, you're like, is that him? Is that not? But like
at this point, it's all like scripted out, and it's just like it's a good way to sell Kiss merchandise, right? And like so that's like all fair for me. Like I'm way more cool with that, and like everybody being like game wink on it. You know what I mean? Where everybody's like having a good. This is Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. We're having fun, This is my son Nick. He plays guitar. He's in a. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know if his son's name was Nick.
Would you say? I think it's Nick. Yeah.
That might be Hulk Hogan, which is why.
Oh, there is a Nick Hogan, but I think his son's name is Nick because I think he was Nico. Like he calls him Nico. I think I don't know. That's not the point.
Hey, do you know Tina Fey's Greek?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I read her book the other day.
We claim her as our own.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
She's a real funny one.
Thank you very much. Yeah, she's great. But this is what I'm saying, right? Like, if you were to look at this, I think that the thing about the Osbournes, I absolutely love it, right? I absolutely love it. But I think it's like, it's marketed in this way of like, we're all having a good laugh at Ozzy's expense.
Right.
But the thing is it's like, it's like when you look at like superhero villains differently by the end of the superhero movie, like in the same sort of way with Ozzy by the end of it, and then when you go back and rewatch it as an adult, like you said, this is a man clearly struggling with substance issues. Like it gave him Parkinson's. Like I don't know if there's any definitive proof, but he has Parkinson's. Like it's like you look at it, man, and you're like, oh man, poor Ozzy, dude. That's fucking.
It's more of a bummer. Right?
Yeah, man.
And it's like
you feel bad for him. You're like, fuck, dude. This dude needs someone to like take care of him in a sort of compassionate, empathetic, nurturing way. But the whole thing, is
at
just
the same time,
he's also fucking but
at the same time, drug addicts are
Yeah, no. I completely understand.
Should be a fair 50-50.
But right, entirely. But what I think it's like, I don't want to dismiss the fact that like I don't know if you watched that. I think I talked about it briefly on one episode, maybe like a month or two ago. But they released, I think like the Biography channel had released a full Ozzy documentary for free on YouTube.
Oh, I heard about this. I have not seen this.
Yes,
so.
It's very good. It's so worth the watch.
Well, please
it's incredible.
Preach to me and the listener why we should watch it.
It's incredible because it doesn't paint this sort of it's not this kind of thing that like paints a specific kind of picture about Ozzy and the sort of like glorification. Like it's definitely not head on in the sort of a here's the music of the man who bit the bat. It's not like that. It's like he was a crazy fucking drug addict who was like in the middle.
I just like binged watched like 10 of those the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, it was way spot on.
But Jesus, I'm like losing my train of thought here.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Oh, Jesus. No, so the documentary itself is approached in a way that doesn't paint him out to be this sort of, like you can tell like there's so much sort of like remorse and regret for like the crazy shit that he did, man, because he like straight up attacked fucking Sharon Osbourne at one point, tried to fucking kill her. Like it was a thing. Like,
yeah,
he was off the rails. So I'm not trying to excuse him by any means, but if we're looking at it from the perspective of like real mental health and is that not just isn't Ozzy's case just the case of like somebody who it was just kind of like he had issues, and then he made it so much money he could take any drug he wanted, and like Here we go, like here's the ride,
right?
So I don't know. They're human beings, man. Like nobody, like people do all kinds of fucked up stuff throughout their life, and then like grow to be better people and feel bad for it. But I'm saying with Ozzy, it's just
even to this like to like shows like Celebrity Rehab, like you know what I mean, like that like followed after that in the you know what I mean, because like I don't know which one was the first one, but like I watched and you had like I mean if we're talking like music, like people like me that I watched on like Steven Adler. It was a great drummer, Guns N' Roses drummer on the first record. One of my favorite drums on any record, by the way, are the drums on the first Guns N' Roses record. They swing and they're so groovy.
Yeah.
Great kick work. Anyway, so besides all that point, like, so you're like seeing like things like that where people melt down. That show is like a pro and con for me because I feel like it destigmatized rehab for normal people on like a level that I think that show did a lot for people. Yeah. Because you'd be like, oh, they suffer too, just like us. You know what I mean? So there was something like that to it. Yeah. So I can't say that show was all good and bad. I have mixed feelings about that one.
Yeah, where I get mixed feelings with it in the sense is like it as a viewer, you do genuinely have those people who like a show like that does some good for them, right? Like you said, it destigmatizes the idea of like doing rehab, and it's like some people, some of these celebrities are like their heroes. So they're like, man, if Steve Adler has to go to fucking rehab, like maybe it's time for me to fucking get to rehab. And that I think is a quality that something like that show has that's good, very good. However, there's the flip side. That's that infatuation with watching people crumbling.
Yeah, it's like
it's the same for fucking Hoarders and like the My Strange Addictions and like all those kinds of shows where it's like for some strange reason, not for some strange reason, we know the fucking reason, let's be honest, but human beings, like we're attracted to watching people doing worse than we are.
Right.
And whatever the reason that is, whether it comes from it's like your own sort of self, whatever, or whatever. Because I watch fucking Hoarders. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fucking love.
Oh, of course. Hoarders. Like I've watched Hoarders before.
There's a lady over here eating a fucking couch. It's like this is bananas. You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and some of it is good. You know what I mean? Like and so there is the both elements of it. It's just I feel like we're at a turning point where I think where people are starting to critically look at because like so let's take like what in the modern view of it, like the Pam and Tommy thing that's out now. I feel like people like that is like a take. One, it's a comedy, but two, it's also a drama.
Yeah, it's like a comedy drama.
Yeah, so like there's some outrageous scenes in it, are like lewd and crazy. There's full frontal. There's like male frontal nudity in it.
Both female and male. Yeah.
Yeah, and
maybe not female full frontal, but
no, but there's male. There's like a ton of male front. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. He talks to his penis at one point.
Yes. I was trying to save it, but yeah, he talks to his penis. Yeah. I was trying to not spoiler alert, but spoiler alert, he talks to his penis.
Yeah. But it doesn't. I don't think that spoils anything in terms of the story. If you haven't seen it, it's just a funny, weird, like what the fuck.
It's like a comedy in one aspect. It has like all the levity of like the situations and stuff. Like it makes it lighter, but at the other point, it's like a real hard look of what happened and what was going on in the zeitgeist and like how we treated the like people, you know what I mean? And it's like for me when like we're getting on those kind of levels, like I think it's like more interesting now because I think we're getting to the point where like even like at pop music I feel like is going to be becoming like more interesting because that element of like might be taking out of it a little bit, and it might, you know what I mean? It might get like a harder focus on art itself, and even to like even to the point of like I know this is gonna be like a wild swing, but like that Olivia Rodrigo song that was popular, you know what I mean? The driver's license song.
I don't think so.
You don't know that song? Dude,
no.
Get on point. It's the album cover. It's the girl with the stickers on her all over her face and tongue. It's purple. You've seen it everywhere. The album's everywhere. Anyway, for Michael, who's an old man over here, and literally doesn't know one of the most popular records that's been released in the past couple of years. It's literally like the #1 vinyl sale. You do know that, right?
No way.
Yes, it was I think it was, if not the #1, it was like #2 vinyl sale of last year.
What was the name of the album? Do you know? She looks familiar, but I don't know.
I forget what the name of the album is, but
Either way. Oh, I know. Yeah, I found it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's called Sour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the purple with the purple in the background.
Duh. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Now you know. But
I know.
to say like that is like we're taking like somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then we're like focusing on the thing about that song was everyone was like, "Oh, I've had that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what that's like."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like I hope we're going to get to like a point of like where we get less scrutinizing. Even like Billie Eilish, like she kind of is taking all those like, no, you're not going to talk about me like that.
Yeah. Right.
We're not going to. This conversation is going to be framed this way.
Yeah.
It's going to be the way I want it to be framed. Or she's like, why are you asking a child that? Like it's that's like the more of narrative coming out of like young pop stars now, where they're like, no, you did that to so and so, and this is how that app turned out. So I'm not doing this anymore. That this isn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a learning curve, but like I think as a society, I feel like we're not as apt. I mean, we love to tear people down and build them back up. Like everybody likes a good, like third act story.
Right.
But like the whole thing is like I feel like we shouldn't be. You know what I mean? I feel like we're less. There's always gonna be that like, oh, who's dating so and so? But like, if you don't want to play in those games, I feel like the times are like you don't have to anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we really did a number on the early pop stars, man.
Yeah, like,
of our era.
Yeah, of our.
Like,
I mean, at least because like ours were the reality TV show stars.
Yeah,
so
right,
like even like I can name so many people that have like Travis Barker had his own reality TV show.
Yeah.
I could just who else? Chicken of the Sea.
Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey.
Right, so they both had reality shows. Both were artists.
They did too. Yep,
you know what I mean? There was like,
and they always had like that's what's so crazy about watching back on those is you always do kind of see like there's like one of them, Ozzy, Jessica Simpson, to a certain extent Gene Simmons, but that might have been planned. There's always like one of the celebrities involved in the show, on the show, most likely starring in the show, that are like the butt of the joke.
Right.
They're like, come on, because I mean, people have like the chicken of the sea line.
Oh well,
everybody fucking talk. I mean, it's very dated now.
It's very scripted, but
yeah,
it's the whole like and now. But that's what I mean.
But now they're putting the kibosh on it. They're just like, no, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't have to be like what it is anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is like. Now even like let's get like further like meta and like big picture on these conversations where if we're talking about like reality TV shows and like celeb reality in that way is like Beyonce released her own movie on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Billie Eilish released her own movie, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's where it's at now because they get to go. This is what we're doing.
Lady Gaga had a good one too.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They all have their own like they're building their own things for their own, so they get to control their personality. They get to control their art.
Right. And
this
their
is how you're gonna
see.
Right, man.
It's not up to the VH1s and the fucking.
Right, because like it's too much for me. And I'm gonna be honest, man. Like the don't meet your heroes thing. That shit's true. Don't meet your heroes. You don't.
Except
bro,
one.
Why do you have to say it today?
Except one.
This is me with the gorilla, Zach Wilde himself.
Yeah.
Listen.
Come on, I do a good Zach Wilde. But
Osmosis was a great Ozzy record.
Listen. Okay, but I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I know, but it was for the sake of the comedic timing of it.
But like
don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, man, it's like that's a thing. You know what I mean? It's something to like, talk to somebody about art, read an interview. I enjoy that, but at the same time, it's like if that's the art you're giving me, and the art is all of yourself all the time, that's cool. I can accept that on your terms. But you know what I mean? It's like now like I don't think you have to. I think it's better now like with the people releasing their own content, their own kind of things, their own, even to the point where like if a celebrity wants to be active on social media and give themselves, they could do the reality show in their hand. You know what I mean? And it doesn't need to be filtered through this weird.
Yeah, right thing. Yeah,
right.
It is odd though, because like going back just to tap on Rock of Love real quick.
Because like
it's crazy because.
Let's talk about we talk about it.
Yeah, so the thing it was so nuts, man, because like the first episode he's like, I'm Bret Michaels from Rock of Love Season 1 and Season 2. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't find the woman of like my dreams. And then I realized it's because I'm on the road all the time. So we're going to take this show on the road and we're going to take it on tour. And the first fucking segment when he goes in to meet these girls is he's like, well, photography, right? He's like, I want to take pictures of these women. So he sets up like this sort of mock photo, photographer studio or whatever, and he's like taking these pictures. But the best thing though is he comes out, dude, and you're just like, is Bret Michaels wearing fucking lip gloss right now?
Oh,
and you're just
so
like,
wearing
and
lip
he's
gloss.
like, and he's like, so like, and he's got the bandana to hide the receding hairline. Let's be honest, we all know what you're doing there, Bret. Okay, you're not fooling nobody. All right, and
But
like
these are the ones. This is the ones I enjoy.
yeah, right,
And I'll
because it's
say
so
it-
outlandish. You're
Well,
like, what the fuck?
This is why. So like this is like the difference for me on things like that, right? So I feel like that revitalized Poison's career. Poison has like an all. Do you know Poison tours with like an all original lineup, like still,
Huh?
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is
so,
cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's the whole thing with me. I'm like, oh, like Bret Michaels gets to go out, and it gave him like a solo career too. So someone for me
Yeah.
as like a like I don't like. I mean, if Poison comes on, I'm not gonna really turn it off because I kind of like it. Like
Yeah.
hits only, guys.
Yeah, of course.
But like your Mama Don't Dance came on the way home the other day. Even though it's a terrible cover, I was like, well, there you go, to rock and roll. Oh,
Like that Bret Michaels has got something.
Oh.
My God.
anyway, but like if
Yeah.
but he's like in on the joke with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100. Yeah. Because I think
Because
you
it's
have
like
to be.
yeah, it's like this is a dating show.
Because let's
It's
be real
fun.
too, man. Like Bret Michaels, if you really wanted to, okay, there's like the image and the show and the blah, 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 but what is really Bret Michaels? Bret Michaels, he's an artist, man. He's a songwriter. Like
Yeah, and he's like a pretty
so I think that he is
a pretty
like,
responsible dude. He's got diabetes. You know what I mean?
oh, does he really?
Yeah, it's a
I
big
didn't
part
know
of the
that.
show. He's never been like a huge partier because he has diabetes,
Oh.
the type you can't get rid of.
Yeah. What's that one? One or two? I
I
can't
think
remember.
one's
I
the
think
one you can't get rid of. I think type 2 you can.
Two is because two's the one where it's just like just stop eating sugar.
Well, I mean, let's not judge people, but
Well, right. I don't listen. I don't. I'm just saying. I think treatment wise, not that this is a medical
yes,
anything.
this is a medical podcast.
It's not. It is not. It is not. This is not medical advice. Sugar's bad for you, though.
An
Don't
attack
get
on
that
Get in the
twisted.
Garage is attack on Get in the Garage. It's attack on music.
It's an attack on podcasts themselves.
An attack on Get in the Garage is attack on music.
Yeah. Yeah. Full on assault, I'd say.
Oh my god.
But it's crazy because yeah, man, like the even the show, dude, like there's certain aspects of it though when I watch it and I'm just like, there's no way this could be made today because it's so misogynistic and fucking. You're like, whoa, and he's just like, but it's. Bret Michaels has this air of innocence to him because
Yes.
he's just like, at the time, I don't know how old he was at the filming of it, but I'm assuming maybe like mid-40s, something like that. And he's just like, I just want to find these hot babes and like party and like play some rock and roll. And you're just like, oh yeah, because he's a fucking 19-year-old boy stuck in a 45-year-old man's body. Like, of course he wants to be surrounded by beautiful women in a fucking tour bus. Like, yeah, that's every 19-year-old boy. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, not that I'm not, trigger warning or whatever, but the point I'm trying to make though is it's like, man, like it's just so I don't know, it's just so crazy. It's so fucking crazy.
So, but see, I get what that show for me is like, you're right. It is like, it has like all the layers of misogyny baked into it that are
Yeah.
like a bit,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of misogyny.
No,
what
no,
I'm
no,
saying
no,
is
that's
it's
not
like,
what we're saying.
It's like,
But what are we really talking about here? We're talking about like when we said earlier when it's kind of like everybody has this weird like gluttonous place in them for entertainment or content that's
Right.
just so like
but
ugh.
because the thing is, it's like at some point, man, like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll is like a cliche that like it's one I enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that's the whole point of that show is like those people are signed, like the people there. That's what it is. It's rock of love. It's sex,
Yeah,
drugs, and
right.
rock and roll.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
that's the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the only drug is alcohol, which is terrible. But
Yeah, one of the worst ones. But
what are you
yeah.
gonna do? But like that's the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like if it's done in that way where it's like rather harmless and it's on like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, really.
And it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody.
Because if you think about the real atrocities that were happening in Hollywood,
Yeah, like
you know what I'm saying?
everybody
You know that this is entertaining. Like it's filmed and set up to look that way from the jump.
right,
You know,
right.
and I'm not saying that that's okay,
Well, I
but
mean,
I'm saying like
people are free to do what they want. Yeah, at some point, you know what I mean?
yeah, it seems like every contestant on those shows wants to be there.
Right. So
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So that's
Including
why.
Bret Michaels.
Which I don't know why.
Oh, the best are the cuts when he's like getting intimate with like a girl and like that like moody acoustic guitar starts playing and they're like in a hot tub and he's just like, I just want somebody who's gonna love me. And she's like, I'm gonna love you so hard, baby. And it's just like this strummy acoustic stuff and you're like, what the fuck
Before we
am
go,
I watching right now?
We gotta
This is
name
bananas.
We gotta name Rock of Love contestants we love. Lacey, that girl with the red hair.
Oh yeah, Lacey. Yeah.
Rodeo.
Yeah. Can we get a list? Hold on.
Rodeo was one of
Hold
my
on.
favorites. There was that Swedish girl, who had done some porn, if I remember correctly.
There was a couple that
Yeah, we're
that
in
were
the
involved
industry.
in the adult industry. Yeah.
Let's get a list, Michael. Who we got? Rock of Love. Before we move on, because I did watch these shows.
Okay, so
If you have a favorite Rock of Love contestant, please.
yeah,
So if we're gonna talk Rock of Love, though,
Rock of Love. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
how do we feel about Flavor of Love?
I mean, the undisputed champion.
I feel like Flavor of Love.
Is the undisputed champion of those. Because you're like,
Granted, but do you feel?
I can't find a list. I'm sorry.
Do you feel like the Flavor of Love instead, like, because that one for me, I'm like, man, Public Enemy was like, is not sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So for
yeah,
me, like that one's like, Flavor Flav's like kind of out to lunch.
yeah. Right.
Well, that's like a statement that's
yeah.
pretty well known. But like, Flavor Flav being out to lunch is like kind of like anti like Public Enemy but I love that show, but
Yeah.
for all the wrong reasons. I like it because it's like it's bad TV. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And like for me on
Yeah.
that one, like Flavor Flav doesn't seem as in on the joke all the time, where like Bret Michaels seems more in on the joke. Like Bret Michaels will like wink wink and raise an eyebrow and be
Yeah.
like, oh, like, well, look at that there, that's pretty, you know.
Right.
But like, for me, like Flavor Flav is never like, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was fun TV, but it's nothing. Like I might go back and like watch like an episode of Rock of Love and laugh, but like
Yeah.
I don't know if I go back and watch the. And I mean, I loved that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, like I don't know, didn't hit the same.
No.
It doesn't hit the same later. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's like Flavor Flav like doesn't have a career now, and like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
for that one, he kind of like it played the wrong way, and it was the same show. You know what I mean?
Well, they were, and then you had all the spin-offs because then you had like I Love New York,
Right.
and like Daisy of Love, or well, it was Daisy of Love, right? Was off of the Rock
I
of Love
love
franchise.
New York. New York is my favorite contestant out of any of those.
She's badass, man.
She's so
She
fun.
does not fuck around.
She recorded the president. Was that her? No, that was Omarosa.
Omarosa.
Omarosa secretly recorded the president when she got fired from the White House because she got a job.
Oh, I
Yes.
didn't know that.
That was Omarosa.
No shit.
Yes. New York, I think, was a contestant on.
But she's done
The
things.
Apprentice, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. The Apprentice, right?
Yeah.
She was some. Yeah, I know. She had like other sort of public connection,
But
to shows.
what
that
I
weren't
am-
exclusively the VH1 stuff.
What I am saying is that like that one like it doesn't play out well for me because like you know what I mean because like
Yeah.
if we're talking about like what they did and like the careers of these people like the reality show like that one didn't play out well, kind of like
Yeah.
drove to like Flavor Flav's not in Public Enemy anymore, and it kind of like starts with that moment, you know what I mean, and ends with him like not being a Public Enemy.
Yeah.
And it kind of like it's a ride that takes years to get there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, because Flavor of Love. That's the thing.
Because you
is, like,
lose like what you were after in the first place and the artistic, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like Bret Michaels,
Yeah,
that's
that
fine.
VH1
'Cause
money comes knocking at your door, though, man.
it's fine for me because like Bret Michaels can go
That
with
happens.
Poison, and he wrote like new songs, and like his fan base got behind him and all that stuff, and he like took it and made more
Yeah.
art with it, really,
Yeah, because if
and
you
more
look at it,
entertainment.
I hear what you're saying though. Because if you were to look at it from the lens of like,
And it's like a good second or third act for him, and I think
Right,
it's like a
right.
nice thing to see instead
Yeah.
of a tear down.
right?
Because if we're talking, because like what we're really talking is on this episode is the the culture of media and then the rise and tear down of people. You know what I mean? So like, and it works in that you can like take something that's kind of like hokey and play off and make you look better for doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's ones where like you might not play it well in the situation. Might have been you could have played it well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, well, let's take a quick break. I do want to talk about something that also relates to this, but we've been going for about 35 minutes. So let's take a quick break.
Quick break.
Crack into this Danish, and we'll we'll be right back.
Get in the garage.
Get in the garage. All right, everyone, welcome back to Get in the Garage.
A musical podcast.
Music podcast. Just me and Luke here today.
We're not a musical podcast.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Today we're going to talk about Rent.
You bite your tongue. I fucking love Rent.
I mean, we might talk about musicals one day, but we're not exclusively a musicals
I could talk
podcast.
about Fiddler on the Roof, Pippin, Jesus Christ Superstar,
I don't.
Phantom of the Opera. I could talk about that stuff.
I don't really like musicals.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
I like going to see a musical.
Yeah.
You're
not going to sit in your living room.
I hate watching musicals.
Yeah, I understand that. It's like anything else, right? It's like stand-up comedy or like going to see live music. Like, you just have to be there.
I guess so.
It's different. You experience it with an audience instead of just like sitting on your couch with your Jewel. Like, man, this is
I like Rocky Horror though.
That's
like one of my favorites.
Yeah,
but that's like I don't know.
Yeah, but it is. It's still
a musical. I really like it.
Yeah, I'm a hardcore Jesus Christ Superstar guy myself.
Oh, so is my significant other.
Yes. Oh yeah, is she?
Oh,
I didn't know she was down with the Jesus Christ Superstar.
She's like, it's like her family's like tradition.
That's what we every year around Easter. Jade and I watch Jesus Christ Superstar. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz?
That's her family too.
That's great. But we are not here to talk about Jesus and musicals. What we are
one day though, we should talk about Jesus Christ Superstar.
So no, we were we're talking about all that stuff and how
we're talking about celebrities and reality shows and how like the culture is kind of like taking a turn in reflecting on all that celebrity and
And
we were talking about Pam and Tommy and that new series.
So just to kind of piggyback off of that, there's another series that I've been watching about the Wu-Tang Clan.
Right. And before you started on that, like let's just talk about like we were talking about artists like Beyonce like making their own kind of images and things now instead of like the press getting to dictate that, like something the Beatles actually kind of invented with their promotional films. But so like even Wu-Tang now, like instead of like obviously it's a TV show and it was brought through many things, but like the executive producers on it are all like the Wu-Tang members and stuff. So it has a strong like this is going to be the story, not like a version of it that's like inauthentic, right?
And there are that's the thing. There are some liberties that are taken with the narrative in the show. But if you listen to any interviews with RZA specifically, because it's him and I can't remember the other producer's main one, Alex Tse, I think his name is. He when he's talking to the show, because there's this beef that happens between Ghostface Killah and Raekwon in the show, right, where Raekwon shoots at Ghostface Killah's house in the projects. It's but that never happened.
Right.
So you watch that and you're like, all right. I mean, I understand why like they have to take these sort of narrative turns in order because you're not, what I mean? Like real life is real life and it's intense. But when you're approaching something as like a television show that has a very clear narrative, you almost have to like manufacture certain things.
Yeah, you got to make it like somewhat of a story, like the way like 8 Mile wasn't really like the story of Eminem's exact life. It was like kind of like that.
It was kind of like that, right? So you base things loosely off of events, but there are other things that are true. But I think it's a well done show. I know some people are kind of like,
but does it? I haven't watched it, so let me ask you the question: does it almost like do them in like the superhero light, where like they come like almost like larger than life kind of figures, or does it like humanize them? Which one does it do? Does it kind of do a little of both?
It's a bit of both. But there is still very much that kind of like RZA, the real RZA's mind behind the whole thing, right? So there's some like really cool like creative way that scenes are cut when like RZA, the young version of RZA in the show, is like putting a beat together,
right?
And he's got the turntables and the drum machines and all this stuff, and he's like isolating tracks, but they're like they're the musicians playing
Right.
the instrument, like sitting in front of him, and he's like, well, I don't like you, so he takes one of them out and he adds a different drummer in, and then like takes this vocalist out and then adds a different vocalist in. But it's like he's doing it from the helm, but it's showing it to you in this way where he's like,
This
is
is showing
him
like what's going on in
visualizing.
his mind.
Right, exactly. And I love that. I think it's so cool. I love that, man.
See,
and
like,
it's just a super well done show too. Like that, I said, there's mixed reviews, but I really enjoy it.
So even to like let's bring it like on the crazy level now, right? Where we're like having a lot of fun. I haven't watched it, but I'm gonna like watch it. I believe this week is the new Dave Grohl Foo Fighters Studio 666 horror movie.
Oh yeah, I saw his promotion for that when he did Hot Ones.
Right.
And they talked about it.
So like that movie is coming out, and I think Whitney Cummings, the comedian, is in it as well. And it's just like see, like, and that's like obviously not like a reality show, you know what I mean? Like we're talking about, but again, it's like I feel like the way that like musicians and artists are making things nowadays, it's so like anything is anybody, like, or anybody can do anything. Like me and you right now are making a podcast, and we're in my basement, and like, you know what I mean? We're nobodies, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So like that's, you know, empowering in some sense, you know what I mean? And at least to just have something to do.
Yeah.
But oh, I lost my train of thought.
Talking about Wu-Tang.
Yes. Oh, I was talking about the Studio 666. So
Oh yeah.
but so even what I'm saying with that is it's like it's really cool when like the Foo Fighters just made a movie, Mike. Like, and it's not Kiss Meets the Phantom. It's like it looks like a well done movie.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Like it's kind of like a sort of hokey, murdery possession, mystery thing.
I'm ready to have fun again, like, and I'm ready for like the Yellow Submarines of the world again, like in like the Monkey's Head and like movies like that.
Right.
Because it's just even like the weird arty like Pink Floyd films, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I feel like we're getting to a point now where like we went through like the complete industry, like, you know what I mean? Like the industry is everything, and da-da-da-da-da. We tried everything, and it was very industry wise. And obviously, this is a big movie made by an industry. Like I get that, the Foo Fighters, but like still though, the fact that the Foo Fighters got to make a movie is exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like a scripted horror movie. It's fun. It's kind of tongue in cheeky. It's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of the thing, like, I wish, like, somebody would, like, come up to Bob Dylan right now and be like, do you want to write, like, do you have a movie script? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, it would be weird and out there and fun and, like, you know what I mean? And so I think it's just another branch of, like, them controlling it. And, like, I think we're going to start to see, like, a lot more of, like, maybe not, like tear down, but more of like positive art statements in that kind of the video-y medium, right?
Yeah, well, the control.
You know, I'm making a pretty grand stretch from like talking about Rock of Love to talk about like more feature like films of like having fun and maybe making like serious art points. Even to that, like I think that was about maybe like 6 years ago at this point, but like the probably more than that.
It's been a while.
The Foo Fighters HBO documentary where they made a song.
Oh, Sound City.
They
wasn't that it? It was called Sound City.
And that one as well, where they did the documentary on the studio. But I'm even talking about the one
they do go to Sound City during that. But I know what you're talking about.
The one where they make the documentary where they make a song in each city, and it becomes the new studio album from the Foo Fighters. Like that was like an interesting thing from like an artist standpoint, and
right.
I just feel like that whole thing of like controlling how you look on, and even like you're giving a lot of yourself, but you still get to be like, you're not going to get everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And I feel like that's, you know, and people have podcasts now, like artists can, if they want, you know.
Yeah, well, because the thing is like if you wanted to have an image be portrayed for you, or well, that's what it was. If you wanted to have an image portrayed, it was portrayed for you by like the powers that be. Where now, you know, these artists, they have an Instagram, they have a TikTok. So they're connecting with their fan base in a much more direct way, rather than like Britney Spears is sitting down for an interview and they're relentlessly asking her if she's a fucking virgin.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, we've come a long way, man. We've come because that's fucked. Like, that's like, ugh.
Yeah,
like,
but that's what we're like. I think what we're like talking about is like today, like me and you grew up on that, and now the culture is like, hey, like let's, you know, is the culture is, I think, turning to where we're looking at what we did.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've turned all the way around to
Yeah.
like like face like like start moving the other direction, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like a big statement when you have all these like look backs of like and I think that really started with like even further like something they talk about my girl the other day was like the Monica Lewinsky thing. It's like it starts like there where she did that like TED talk where she was like, hey, you treated me like shit.
Yeah.
All of you.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, oh yeah, we did, huh?
Yeah.
We really did.
Yeah.
And now Britney Spears and we're looking at all these people.
If only we could apologize to Amy Winehouse.
That one. Let's see that one.
We were indebted.
That's
we were
another
indebted
one,
to her, man.
And that is like the era I think we're talking about where I don't think we really want to see anybody that happen to anybody else again. And I can't think of like a pop star that's really like been like ongoing. Like the one right now is like I don't know, but Kanye West seems like he's a bit troubled at the moment.
Yeah, right.
Like we talk about I think almost every week on this podcast.
Yeah.
About Kanye, but like he's like going through that right now, and I feel like the media is kind of like, hey man, like you all right? Like
yeah, right.
Because like they're reporting on it, but
Yeah.
a lot of it is like, hey man, like like it's more of like
need a hug, man. Like
the
what
tone.
the fuck?
The tone is different.
Yeah.
The tone isn't like Kanye. Well, some of it is Kanye West is crazy, but
Yeah, right.
the majority of it is
But this is the thing.
what's going on with Kanye. Like what I mean.
Right, and I think that if you want to draw a comparison to like so if this was happening to Kanye in 2002, there'd be like a reality show about it where it's just like Kanye and Kim just got
with like all the talking
separated,
heads
and like the talking heads and all that shit. Yeah, it would totally be. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, but and it wouldn't even be from like an entertainment type channel. It would be like the trashy VH1.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We put Kanye up in like this
get what
old
you're saying.
retro
I get what
fucking
you're
mansion so that way he can try to find love again after his heartbreak with Kim Kardashian. And drama ensues.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. Like that was the era of
Yeah, it's like we would stand by and watch our heroes literally unravel in front of us without batting an eye. Where I think what you're trying to say is now people are like, hey man, what the fuck's going on with Kanye?
Yeah.
Yo, is he okay, man? Is this dude okay? Instead of being like, oh, that Kanye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's crazy. Wow. You know, and in all reality, you're like, this man is like stalking his ex-wife, his soon-to-be ex-wife, and like her current boyfriend's life is in misery now because he's getting harassed by people on the street because Kanye's like, attack him whenever you see him, attack him. You know, and they're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, we're more of like, hey man, like that behavior's not great. Like,
right.
And I feel like that's a big push forward. Man,
you've had that the entire time. I don't know if anybody's seen it. That's bleach right there.
Yeah, that's bleach. The other stuff is caulk.
Oh, bleach and caulk. Wow, look at you.
Wow. A working man.
A clean working man, though.
I really am.
This is bleach.
I got the working man's outfit on.
Yeah, it's good though. Our collars are blue here.
Our necks are red.
Oh my gosh. But no, but yeah, it's
so
that good thing, right? Is that the narrative has turned in that way? That's like hey, let's talk about mental health. You know.
I mean, I enjoyed watching the Pam and Tommy thing, and I enjoy like the questioning thing, and like whether you know what I mean, and
yeah, cool. Because I think that's the thing. Like when Jade and I were watching Pam and Tommy, we naturally had that like at what point, like when you're like episode 4 or 5 in, you start thinking about it, and you're like, man, this is fucked up. Like, I understand the motives of the guy who like stole the safe and all of that because Tommy Lee held a fucking gun to his head. Let's be honest. Here. Tommy Lee's not a fucking great dude.
No, not saying in the situation.
You know what I'm saying? Not by any means. But then to also reflect on it in a way of being kind of like the release of this film. Look at the two different sort of reactions where Tommy Lee is just kind of like, yeah, whatever, because he knows it's going to like, it'll kind of make him relevant again. Whereas Pamela Anderson
kind of tanks her whole career.
And she completely recedes. The real Pamela Anderson completely recedes in this way where she's like, fuck, I got to relive this whole shit again, man. This was like the most humiliating thing in my fucking life.
Right.
And I got to make a fucking show about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what do? You know what I mean? Like it's that sort of, at least watching this show, I still watch it. Whether or not that's good, I don't fucking know. But I still watch it. But in the back of my head, I'm like, man, she was just another one that they fucking tore down, man. That was made into this like sex symbol. And then it's like when popular culture wants their celebrity sexy, but then they actually have something that's explicit, say, I mean, aside from Playboy, because Pamela Anderson did pose for Playboy,
Right.
But like a movie depicting her having sex,
but it's different. It's
then
like
they're like they tear her down. You
Right.
know, it's like
right. It's and it's the more of like the intimate thing. You know what I mean? It's like the love.
Right.
That's you know what I mean?
right. Because not for nothing, I don't know the ins and outs. I do know that at one point Tommy Lee got in trouble because, and rightfully so, because of some like domestic violence style things towards Pamela Anderson. Like I think he hit her or something like that.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying like oh yeah, but what I am saying is
yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying though. Yeah.
Is that like the situation with her is much, you know what I mean, it's like he has way less to lose, and like it's in even like today, like by watching it and somewhat learning, like yes, I am entertained by it, but also it's like it's something
it's a
where
well-made show. Like I'm not saying it's not a well-made show.
Reflect on
right
how you thought about something previously,
right?
You know
and
I
I
mean?
hope that's I hope that's what people get as a takeaway from this,
right? And
to
I
feel
think,
sort of troubled by watching this at the
right,
same time.
because my view of Pamela Anderson before this was kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, was kind of like she's kind of like a bimbo, and it's just like it's the first thought that comes to the head. It's not
right.
like
and
I actively go out thinking that about Pamela Anderson.
No. But what you're saying is that there's this certain
that's
sense
the
of like
archetype. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you get to see her.
It's the exploited sex symbol that becomes sort of like, unfortunately, because of the popular narrative. Then you're like, oh, she's like slutty, but it's
and
like
then,
no, she's a fucking human being who like
right. And the argument is like, if you don't want to be treated, don't dress. And it's just like, well, why does Tommy Lee get to be respected and like get to walk around with his shirt off and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not really damaged at all. Like Motley Crue,
I mean, he's damaged.
He's damaged.
He's damaged.
But, like,
maybe not anymore.
Yeah,
but
but
at the
not,
time,
he
for
wasn't
sure.
damaged by that incident in the same way. You know
right.
what I mean?
That's yeah. Like the social impact of the sex tape being released. You know, it's I don't know. I can't speak for fucking Tommy Lee. I don't know. Although he is Greek, so I feel like I have a little bit of a ESP there. But I'm just saying, man, like that dude probably watched that tape and was just like, man, I look pretty good.
Right. Like,
you know what I mean? Where Pamela Anderson's just like, this is going to destroy my career that I worked so fucking hard to build and to be taken seriously as an actor. And then Tommy Lee's just like taking a piss in the bushes and slugging down a fucking Jack Daniels, and he's just like, yeah, I got a big dick, you know, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, like, that's where that's why I kind of enjoy these like things now where we're looking back. I wanted to also bring it back to another thing that we talked about on this program before, I think last summer maybe. I don't remember. The Woodstock 99 doc, which was which was a giant look back of the culture in the music, and I think that music doc, it wasn't my favorite the way it was done. Like I didn't agree with all the points it made. It wasn't the most well done thing, but the thing it did, I enjoyed about it the most. It was the way it made me look back and reflect on the culture and that music, and that shit, like that documentary too, was like a look back of like, what were we doing? What were we singing about? How were we acting? How were we behaving as people? And it was almost about that same time period. And it's very interesting. And even to the point where like now, like to a point where like we may have like seen those people there, and we kind of may like have still be like crapping. Like Limp Bizkit had a pretty good resurgence, and they got like some kind of like recognition for like the music they had done. But I think like the total like look back of like, oh yeah, man, Korn was really good, and they did put on a good set. And,
dude.
And you're like, maybe like it's not fair to like just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like that, there's a lot of things that are like, just, was that right? Did this happen? The look back is I think
it's an interesting
needed.
one.
It's needed because
we need to look, because here's the thing. I think what you're trying to say is like, it's important to do these look backs because on one end we need to be exposed to the atrocities that we as human beings have like done, like the things that we've done that's like, that was kind of a stain on like humanity in terms of just a lot of the stuff that went down.
Right.
But you have to in a way separate the art from the artist, and being kind of like, yeah, but like Red Hot Chili Peppers was told not to play fucking Fire, and they did it anyway, and then a bunch of fire started. That's pretty fucking cool. You know what I mean? You're like, because it's not, you know what I mean? It's this dualistic place. You have to like have your foot kind of in both places where you're like, well, it is rock and roll, man, and like Jerry Lee Lewis lit his fucking piano on fire. You know what I mean? Like, so this isn't new stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And like also like if you watch that documentary,
like,
oh yeah, that was horrible. If you watch that documentary, the Woodstock founder Michael Lang, Very heavily to blame. Very heavily to blame.
Him and the other guy.
Yeah, I forget
Fuck was
the
his
other
name?
promoter's name,
Yeah,
but
that guy's a piece
the
of
promoters of that show were entirely to blame.
Bonkers.
Yes. But anyway, also, take care of one another in public settings and watch out for your brother. So, brothers and sisters.
Can
I'll
I just
that.
say though, like my favorite part of that documentary was probably. It's my favorite in a way of not because I enjoyed watching this happen as much, but in a way being like, there now there it is when they're ripping down the peace wall.
Yes.
And I'm like, do you need more definitive proof of how fucking angry people are?
Yeah.
They're literally tearing down a peace wall. Like, and they're like, yeah, fuck this thing. And it's like local artist work.
The guy that goes, looking back, a wall wasn't the greatest metaphor for peace. But what we're really talking about is modern reflecting and looking back.
Yeah.
So the modern music programs looking back about what we had done in the celebrity video, reality show narrative kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even to the point where Woodstock '99, it was pay-per-view. It was out there. You could watch a live feed of it for the entire 3-4 day, whatever, how many times it was. There was a live feed of it.
Yeah.
So it was the same thing. It happened in the video age. So
yeah,
I think, the look backs are necessary. I really enjoy them. If anybody even to you see this podcast, if you have a retrospective book that's kind of a big picture look back, I'm into those. I like the hot takes and the big picture look backs and the reflectiveness, because especially in the now, me and you are the age where now we're looking back on, people are now looking back and examining our childhoods and our high school culture and examining it very much so with why was that, and we were the first generation. Everything's on video, everything's audio, everything, you know what I mean? Everything's out there for us, you know what I mean? And so it's very interesting to look back on those things, and I'm curious to see where we go culturally moving forward with all that good stuff. And
I'll tell you what's really far out is TikTok now has a filter, a Pamela Anderson filter.
Oh, geez.
But that's that. If that's more, you want more definitive proof, it's this is the internet age, man, where it's just kind of oh, okay, so this show comes out and somebody's like, I'm gonna make a Pamela Anderson filter, and they just make a Pamela Anderson filter, and all of a sudden now, thin eyebrows and the messy bun with the loose, chunky highlight bangs going on and stuff is it's back.
The thing is too is this isn't the way it should happen by any means, but if she gets a whole third act, it's well deserved. You know what I mean? It's because. You know what I mean? It wasn't right in the first place to
Yeah, that's my hopes for this show, is that it allows people to see how shitty the whole thing played out for her.
Right.
And I definitely, going into it, the first couple of episodes was all right, I just hope that they don't paint this weird picture of her. But I think they're doing a decent job of painting a picture of her in a way that's honest and being this woman was traumatized by this shit, people. Hello.
It plays a lot of different, it plays in a lot of different kind of moods, like we were saying, comedy, but it also plays very well in the other direction, where it also says it has the notes it needs to, and it drives the point home very clearly, when it needs to, but it also uses comedy as the levity of the situation.
Right. So what is it? Seth Rogen and who's the guy? He plays Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec.
Oh, yes.
Nick Offerman.
Yeah, Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman with the crazy gross mullet, and he's always sweaty.
He plays a porn director.
Yeah, and it's what the fuck? It's bonkers.
That's the comic relief in it, and that's
funny.
So the Pam and Tommy scenes where they're together,
those are the serious
that's
scenes.
the more drama scene, and then it has a whole second kind of storyline that's all kind of comedy based and slapsticky.
Because Seth Rogen's character, what's his name,
is the
Rand Gauthier,
is the guy that stole the sex tape.
He's the guy that he steals the safe, but even his character, I don't know if the real Rand Gauthier is like this, but in the show they have him, and he's he's this avid student of theology.
Yes,
and
he
he's
is like that in real life.
Oh, is he like that?
Yeah,
in real life?
I looked up what was true, what was false.
Right.
That was one of the things that was real.
That was true. Okay, so there you go. So but it's you can't help but look at that and think
it
that's
reminded
kind of
me
funny.
Of you.
Oh, God.
Not in the preachy way, but the way that you're all have you read the Buddha, dude?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but the fact that, and also the fact that that dude disguised himself as like that Alaskan Mastiff or whatever fucking
like that was
dog
real.
they had. That was real.
Too,
yeah, he like snuck on the grounds disguised as a fucking dog.
Oh man, you're gonna have to put like maybe a big spoiler alert in the beginning of this podcast.
Why?
Because we've like spoiled all of this Hulu.
Fuck him if they can't make a joke. No. Well, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll put that out.
Maybe
there.
you should put a disclaimer at the beginning.
Okay, I'll put a disclaimer.
There are spoilers to many things.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So
including this one big spoiler: Bret Michaels never really finds true love. Sorry, Bret Michaels, your tour ends here. Your tour ends here.
Jesus, that's it, man.
That's it. All right, listen.
But so
yeah,
cap it all off. Like what we're this episode is a little loosey goosey, but like
we're just having fun.
What
We're just
me
BSing.
and Mike really want to talk about was like the reality shows of our youth and like how it's reflected today, and you know I think
looking back, a retrospective.
Yeah,
to that style of entertainment.
Yeah, and well, that has to do with music and at least
right.
And
right.
I think it's gonna be cool to like. If anybody has like anything like one of those like a look back that's like similar or like throw it out there. Give us a give us a suggestion and
talk to us.
I think
talk to us. Leave a comment.
Yeah,
leave a comment.
Are
now that we're on YouTube?
Also, if you grew up with these reality shows, also tell us who is your favorite Rock of Love contestant.
It has to be Daisy.
I like that girl. There's like a girl in like one of the episodes. She's like, "Don't threaten me with a good time."
I think she goes like the first episode. She's like shit faced the whole time.
I
She's
think
like,
she
"Don't
pukes.
threaten me with a good time." Yeah, and then she throws
I think she
up.
Pukes.
Yeah.
I think she pukes.
But listen, all our best to Bret Michaels and the Michaels.
We hope he finds love.
the Michaels estate.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to YouTube and Instagram, and we have Facebook. Maybe we should start a TikTok too. I don't know. We'll see. Patreon to come. Patreon should be on its way.
We're getting a Patreon?
At some point soon, yeah.
Cool.
So, that way we can, also possible T-shirts. We're ironing out the logistics of the T-shirts now, trying to figure out, but we might do a little T-shirt fundraiser.
Yeah.
Try to help us, build our studio up a little bit nice, make this nice, good content for everybody who enjoys it. So, yeah.
Yep.
And share. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. Check out Pam and Tommy and tell us if you like it and like if you enjoy it. And same with the Wu-Tang thing. Tell us if you've enjoyed that. The Woodstock 99 thing's like kind of like a year old, but also if you want to talk about that, I always want to talk about Woodstock 99.
Yeah.
This is what I want. I would love to put a book together of people's accounts, personal accounts and stories from Woodstock 99. To get like a day 1, day 2, day 3.
Yeah.
Like it would be super interesting.
Just the average fan person who was there.
Yeah, like what happened, what was their what I mean?
Experience.
Yeah, because like it was modern, a lot of people are and it was like a thing that happened in a time where I was alive.
It's crazy.
Because
I'll tell you this: if you remember, man, were you even really there?
Check out the great account. There's a great accounts on Reddit. If you check out Woodstock 99 personal accounts on Reddit, there's a couple of people that gave great ones. So check those out as well.
Well, maybe we'll try to get them on the potty wad.
I would love to interview somebody that went to
That'd
Woodstock
be cool,
99
right? That'd be dope.
Just to ask questions. But
once again, thank you all for joining us here on Get in the Garage. We hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been a presentation from the Wasted Robot Network. For more information and links to other shows, please visit www.wastedrobotrecords.com/podcasts.